Good evening, you're watching Super 6 on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nadagopal. Over the next 1 hour, we'll be rounding up all of the day's top stories. But our focus in this edition of Super 6 of the next 30 minutes is on what's playing out in the Congress. Ugly mudslinging that's taking place between Shashi Tharoor and several of his colleagues. Some of the senior-most Congress leaders calling out Tharoor, accusing him of praising the Modi government, particularly his comment on the 2016 surgical strike. We're going to be breaking down for you how we've been seeing this back and forth and what Tharoor has to say about all of these questions that have been posed at him, thrown at him by his own colleagues within the Congress. What's been playing out for the last many months behind closed doors in the Congress is now out in full public view. An intense war of words has erupted within the Congress party. Congress leaders, one after another on social media, are now targeting Shashi Tharoor, accusing him of being a mouthpiece for the BJP, even calling him super spokesperson of the BJP. What's this about? Well, the reason they've been targeting Tharoor is Shashi Tharoor, remember, part of that global delegation, made a comment about the 2016 surgical strike, calling it one of its kind. And so the Congress has been reminding Tharoor of previous such strikes and hitting out at the Congress MP. So a fight within the party that's playing out in full public view. Details first in our report.
The rift between Congress leaders and their MP Shashi Tharoor is escalating. Tharoor is now being labelled Modified by members of his own party over his statements abroad about 2016 surgical strikes.
The Uri strike in September 2015, that was already something we had not done before. Even during the Kargil war, we had not crossed the line of control. In Uri we did. Then came the attack in Pulwama in January 2019. This time we crossed not only the line of control, we crossed the international border and we struck a terrorist headquarters in Balakot.
Congress leaders are demanding a public apology, with some even suggesting that Tharoor could be suspended from the party.
क्या ये कड़ी निंदा तक रहेगा या punitive action will be taken against Dr. Tharoor? क्या उनको publicly अपने words वापस लेने पड़ेंगे? Is action now something which will happen if he doesn't take back his words? Because he's also saying that he doesn't have the time for all of this.
See, मैं एक ही चीज़ कहूँगा कि अपने इस स्टेटमेंट को वापस लें और पश्चाताप करें कि भूल चूक हो गई है और अंग्रेजी लिख करके, कंफ्यूजिंग अंग्रेजी और जारगन लिख करके, हम भी जेनू के पढ़े हुए हैं, कंफ्यूज करना चाहें तो बहुतों को कंफ्यूज कर दें, लिख दें, किसका कोई मतलब ही ना हो। साफ साफ बात है कि उन्होंने जो कहा है गलत कहा है, उसको उनको मानना चाहिए। बस मैटर यहीं से एंड होता। बाकी हाई कमान क्या फैसला लेता है, क्या सोचता है, वो आपको कम्युनिकेट किया जाएगा परिस्थितियों के हिसाब से।
But Tharoor is standing his ground. In a post on platform X, he launched a scathing rebuttal, clarifying that his recent remarks were preceded by a reference to several terror attacks in recent years. He noted that earlier Indian responses were both constrained and restrained, respecting the line of control. Meanwhile, Congress leader Pawan Kheda kept the feud going. On X, he posted a highlighted excerpt from Tharoor's 2018 book, The Paradoxical Prime Minister, in which Tharoor had praised the Congress-led UPA for conducting surgical strikes with restraint without politicizing them. For now, Congress leaders say they fully support the party high command if it decides to consider Tharoor's suspension.
Dr. Tharoor has already clarified today that he did not mean that no action has been taken in the past. The BJP always tries to divide. They won't succeed here. Let them try.
Meanwhile, Jairam Ramesh slammed the government for not answering opposition's questions on Pahalgam terror attack, but his choice of words faced criticism.
आज भी वो आतंकवादी यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे हैं। ये जो पहलगाम के आतंकवादी हैं, उन्होंने 4 आतंकी हमले कराए हैं 18 महीने में। आज वहाँ यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे हैं। हमारे सांसद भी यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे हैं और आतंकवादी भी यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे हैं।
क्या अब देश की बात करना, देशभक्ति दिखाना, नेशन फर्स्ट सामने रखना, पाकिस्तान का घिनौना चेहरा, आतंकी चेहरा, आतंक की फैक्ट्री चलाने वाला चेहरा विश्व के मंच पर लाना अब कांग्रेस को बर्दाश्त नहीं है।
The BJP has backed Tharoor's India First official surgical strike claim, citing a 2017 response from the Army's Directorate General of Military Operations to a PTI query, which stated that there was no records of surgical strikes before September 29, 2016. As the war of words intensifies, Shashi Tharoor's future in Congress party is now under a cloud. With Mausami Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let me bring in now on this broadcast Rajdeep Sardesai, who's joining us live from Mumbai. Rajdeep, good evening. You know, before we talk about how we've been seeing this playing out rather uglily, full public view in the Congress, I want to understand from you, Rajdeep, what you think of what Mr. Tharoor said. Do you think he crossed a Lakshman Rekha that warranted, Congress leaders coming out and targeting him the last 24 hours?
Look, Akshita, the fact is that Shashi Tharoor is a man of words. He's also, I would say, one of the few public intellectuals that we have at the moment in national politics. I think when Shashi Tharoor says that, and he's clarified that when he referred to surgical strikes of 2016 and that we've actually struck across the LOC for the first time, he's trying to make the distinction between the wars of 65 and 71 and the specific operations that took place in 2016 after Uri, 2019 after Pulwama, and then, of course, now in 2025. But I think the real messaging that's going on, Akshita, is not in the words. It's not in the wordplay. It's the fact that Shashi Tharoor wants to retain his relevance in national politics at a time when he's been marginalized by his own party, both nationally and Kerala. And the Congress party wants to establish its authority, both in Kerala and at the national level. So that really is the shadow boxing that's going on. I actually think it's a storm in a teacup. Shashi Tharoor is going nowhere, trust me. Neither is the Congress in any mood to suspend him or ask him to leave, as your story seems to suggest. This is classically, Akshita, the communication channels and the conflict management within the Congress systems out of power has broken down. And because of the lack of communication, because there is no conflict management process, every comment that Shashi Tharoor makes invites a reaction from some Congress person or the other. And as a result, there's a lot of noise, which was only embarrassing the Congress further at a time when it doesn't need this kind of embarrassment.
So Rajdeep, you're suggesting that Tharoor isn't going anywhere. Then what is the messaging he's attempting to send across every single time when he praises the Prime Minister? He's done it repeatedly. There's been a lot of controversy over it essentially, but it's not stopped him from continuing to make these comments. If he's not attempting to get close to the BJP or attempting to really leave the Congress red-faced, what is his attempt here? Why is he constantly doing it, Rajdeep, in your view?
To retain his relevance. Shashi Tharoor wants to retain his relevance as a sort of India spokesperson, not a party spokesperson, but an India spokesperson on foreign affairs. That's the role. He would be happier, I think, being India's ambassador to the United States at this moment than being a member of parliament sitting in the Lok Sabha. Just look at what Dr. Tharoor said, and your story reflected that. In his book, Paradoxical Prime Minister, in 2018, he says, the shameless exploitation of the 2016 surgical strikes along the line of control with Pakistan as a party election tool, something that the Congress had never done despite having authorized several strikes earlier, marks a particularly disgraceful dilution of the principle that national security issues require both discretion and non-partisanship. What are we to understand? So Shashi Tharoor said one thing in 2018, one thing in 2025. Naturally, the Congress has every reason, therefore, to question him. But I think Dr. Tharoor wants to rise above the din of Congress versus BJP and establish himself as the India spokesperson at this moment, thereby retaining his political relevance. I am told he has already made it clear to some of his friends he's not going to contest a Lok Sabha election again. So come 2029, he won't contest from Thiruvananthapuram. That gives him 4 years. He wants to use these next 4 years to establish his relevance in national politics. And certainly, as long as the Kerala elections are there next year, he will have one eye on that in the hope that if circumstances so turn out, maybe he will be seen as a face of the Congress. Having said that, I think that's very unlikely now that the Congress will project Tharoor as its face for Kerala. But this is about Shashi Tharoor battling for relevance and the Congress High Command trying to establish its authority. And the result is rather unseemly, as we are seeing.
No, but Rajdeep, you did say Congress has every right to, respond to Tharoor. But do you think the manner in which they're doing it is correct? The fact that you have some senior Congress leaders calling out Tharoor on social media, it kind of sends across a message that the High Command has no control, that you've got this fight playing out in full public view on social media for everyone to see.
Absolutely, and that's the point I made at the very outset, Akshita. The fact is, Congress's communication systems and conflict management or conflict resolution mechanisms have broken down. So therefore, it's a free for all. One day Udit Raj can say something, one day some other leader from Kerala will say something else, and there is no control. And dare I say, there are Congress leaders, all you have to do is put a mic in front of them, and they may well say something contentious. I call it the ANization of political journalism. Someone comes in, says something, it becomes a controversy, and the Congress doesn't even have the capacity anymore to control it. Because when your high command is weakened, then that makes it that much more difficult to control the narrative. I can tell you for a fact that Salman Khurshid, for example, who's gone on this delegation, was among those who said, look, I don't need to go. I will first take clearance from the Congress High Command. But there were others who said, even if the Congress High Command doesn't allow me to go, I'm going. Now, that would have never happened 20 years ago. Today, the High Command possibly doesn't have the same control over any of their major leaders, and therefore it's become a bit of a free-for-all. And that embarrasses the Congress party and again sends out the wrong signals.
That's true. The strategy perhaps of the Congress High Command to simply look the other way doesn't seem to be really doing the party any favors. Thank you very much, Rajdeep, as always, for joining us here at Super 6 with your perspective on all that's playing out right now in the Congress camp. Now, let's tell you the exact sequence of events here. How did this happen? What triggered it and how did the Congress respond? It started with Tharoor speaking as part of that global delegation, speaking about the 2016 surgical strike, which he referred to as a first of its kind and hailing it, essentially hailing not so much the government but speaking of India's action against Pakistan. Now, it's over this comment that the Congress has lashed out. Congress has in fact gone ahead and rather publicly rebuked Tharoor. You had Udit Raj starting it, calling Tharoor super spokesperson of the BJP. Pawan Khera, Jairam Ramesh, two extremely senior Congress leaders, then actually endorsed Udit Raj's comment. That's what sparked off questions about whether the Congress leadership also now is miffed with Tharoor. But right after that, Shashi Tharoor took to social media, put out a long post where he hit back at his critics saying, look, I was referring to the 2016 surgical strikes as being an incident that really set a precedent against Pakistan. He also said, I have better things to do than to respond to these critics. Pawan Khera, senior Congress leader, right after Tharoor put out that clarification, shared an excerpt from Tharoor's book, The Paradoxical Prime Minister, to taunt him, saying, I agree with Mr. Tharoor. What did he agree on? He agreed essentially on that excerpt from Tharoor's book where he called out the BJP, accusing them of politicizing the 2016 surgical strikes. But what's happening within the Congress camp right now? I want to bring in Moushmi Singh on this broadcast, who's been tracking the latest that's coming in from the Congress right now. Moushmi, has the High Command stepped in? Have they intervened? Have they doused this fire that's been playing out on social media? Or are we going to be seeing more taunts, barbs, jibes playing out?
Hear me, Akshita. The thing is that, this has been brewing for some time now. The meltdown artist Shashi Tharoor actually contested Congress president's election, challenging.
We're just going to fix that connection with you and then come back to you. Give me a couple of minutes. We'll come back to you. In the meanwhile, let me just put the spotlight on how Shashi Tharoor's Congress journey, particularly in the last 10 years or so, has been rather controversial. Let's begin from 2014. That's when you had Shashi Tharoor being removed as the Congress spokesperson. Why? Because in an article, he had praised Prime Minister Modi, referring to Modi as an avatar of modernity and progress. He was pulled up by the High Command. The leadership even removed him as a spokesperson. At that point, when this action had taken place, Shashi Tharoor had accepted the action taken by the High Command, but also defended himself, saying, no, I did not praise outrightly Prime Minister Modi. Then in 2022, remember that there was a group called G23, senior Congress leaders who called for organizational changes after a string of losses for the Congress. Shashi Tharoor was part of that grouping. But mind you, many of the Congress leaders who are part of this group left the party, saying we wanted change, it didn't happen. Shashi Tharoor remains in the party. Many would say he's remained 3 years on, completely sidelined. It was in the very same year after the G23 pushed for change that you had Congress chief, the president elections also taking place. Mallikarjun Kharge was of course the chosen one from the Gandhis, so he got overwhelming support. But interestingly, Shashi Tharoor also contested that election. And many believe that it was here that the Gandhis kind of saw red, did not like the fact that he chose to contest against Mallikarjun Kharge and the fact that he got over 1,000 votes despite having no approval from the Gandhis. There was no stamp of approval for him. The Gandhis clearly chose Mallikarjun Kharge. Despite that, the fact that he got 1,000 votes did speak volumes of the fact that Shashi Tharoor enjoys a certain popularity within the Congress party. That didn't bode well for him though within the party, as the leadership was clearly miffed. Many reports have suggested that even post that, when Shashi Tharoor has sought additional responsibility, when he's met with Rahul Gandhi to even seek a role in Kerala Congress, all of that was outrightly shot down. But listen in to Congress's Udit Raj. He's been the most vocal perhaps against Shashi Tharoor. He's repeatedly demanded that Tharoor apologize for his 2016 surgical strike remark. Here's an excerpt of his conversation with Preeti Chaudhary.
You're saying that Dr. Tharoor has become a sycophant of the Prime Minister and the BJP. First question, is this the personal view of Mr. Udit Raj, or is this view now shared by a political party?
See, forget about personal view or party view. I have laid down certain facts. What is concluded out of that facts, that when Mr. Trump humiliated our Prime Minister, then he also stood. And at the time of Pahalgam, in case of Pahalgam also, he tried to defend that. Of course, security lapse is a routine thing. Whereas this area was area of special watch, where was the police, where was the CRPF, where was the BSF? What does it show? That you are psychopath?
सर, मैं फिर एक सवाल पूछती हूँ कि क्या ये कड़ी निंदा तक रहेगा या punitive action will be taken against Dr. Tharoor? क्या उनको publicly अपने words वापस लेने पड़ेंगे? Is action now something which will happen if he doesn't take back his words? Because he's also saying that he doesn't have the time for all of this.
See, and मैं एक ही चीज कहूँगा कि अपने इस स्टेटमेंट को वापस लें और पश्चाताप करें कि भूल चूक हो गई है, और अंग्रेजी लिख करके, कंफ्यूजिंग अंग्रेजी और जार्गन लिख करके, हम भी जेनू के पढ़े हुए हैं, कंफ्यूज करना चाहें तो बहुतों को कंफ्यूज कर दें, लिख दें, किसका कोई मतलब ही ना हो। साफ साफ बात है कि उन्होंने जो कहा है गलत कहा है, उसको उनको मानना चाहिए। बस मैटर यहीं से एंड होता। बाकी हाई कमान क्या फैसला लेता है, क्या सोचता है, वो आपको कम्युनिकेट किया जाएगा, परिस्थितियों के हिसाब से बताया जाएगा आपको।
Now let's run you through several leaders who were part of the Congress and then quit the party. We're not suggesting at any point that Shashi Tharoor is about to do that, because he has a number of options, and as you heard from Rajdeep earlier, it does look unlikely that at this point Tharoor is going to quit the party. But there have been several other senior leaders who've chosen to take that step, saying we've given up on attempting to change how things work in the Congress. Jyotiraditya Scindia was, of course, one of the prominent names who quit Congress, joined the BJP. And that's because he claimed that in Madhya Pradesh, the Kamal Haasan government failed to fulfill promises. There was, of course, a lot of buzz that Jyotiraditya Scindia wasn't really given his due in the Congress. Another big high-profile name, Himanta Biswa Sarma, who also joined the BJP. And remember, when he had quit the Congress, he put out a detailed post where he said he was insulted by the Congress High Command, particularly naming Rahul Gandhi. Himanta Biswa Sarma now is, of course, Chief Minister of Assam. Amrinder Singh again joined the BJP. Veteran Congress leader, many people never thought he would actually leave the party. But he claimed again that the High Command ignored him, repeatedly humiliated him in Punjab. Jitin Prasad, again from the Congress, joined the BJP, now of course in the Uttar Pradesh BJP with a very important role. He said that there is discontent with people, that Congress is not able to address some of the concerns of the people, and so he decided to jump ship and join the BJP. RPN Singh also had left the Congress to join the BJP. He, in fact, was very clear that the reason that he did that is because many of his aides, his associates, weren't given tickets in the UP elections by the Congress. They were ignored, they were sidelined. A miffed RPN Singh jumped ship. Kapil Sibal is an independent Rajya Sabha MP, was previously with the Congress. Now remember that he was part of the G23, which I was referring to, the group that saw changes within the party. And so he said that he was left out of key decision-making meets of the Congress, which is what prompted him to take that decision of leaving the party. Ghulam Nabi Azad, and mind you, these names that I'm giving you are all extremely senior leaders, veterans who are part of the Congress for decades together. Ghulam Nabi Azad left the Congress to establish his own party. He again said that he was insulted and that he was sidelined by Rahul Gandhi. He said that he was never part of any of the crucial decision-making meetings, despite being a core team of the Congress for so many years. Milind Deora, another very articulate face of the Congress, left to join the Shiv Sena. He maintained that he did this to support the path of development, that what he wanted to do, the changes he wanted to bring, aligned more with the BJP than with the Congress. Ashok Chavan cited personal reasons when he left the Congress and joined the BJP, never really gave details of why he chose to take that step. Then there was Baba Siddiqui, another leader in Maharashtra, who unfortunately, of course, was killed recently. He joined the NCP, Ajit Pawar faction. He claimed the reason he did that was he didn't feel he was needed anymore in the Congress. Let me bring in Maushmi Singh. We've got that connection back with her now. Maushmi, take us through what the Congress High Command is doing right now. Have they intervened? Are they ensured that there's no more public bickering that takes place?
Clearly, Akshita, if you see the way matters have turned, really tricky between the Congress and Shashi Tharoor. I remember that it wasn't long ago in the Congress Working Committee meeting when, Shashi Tharoor was asked whether he breached the party line. And then after that, this delegation goes, Shashi Tharoor's remarks are continuously, there's a thought of the Congress are causing a lot of embarrassment to the Congress party. And there's more than what meets the eye because, on policy issues, on issues where, the Modi government has been very, very, where the Congress has been very critical of the Modi government. You have Mr. Tharoor, heaping praises. And perhaps there is a thought in the Congress that only after the delegation has come back on Indian soil, the brainstorming and the Congress Working Committee meetings could see Tharoor being cornered yet again. There's a disciplinary committee. There is a thought that perhaps he could be issued a notice in terms of making statements on surgical strikes. But for now, the Congress doesn't want to fan the entire row for the fact that he is on foreign soil, he is leading a delegation, and it's a matter of putting up a united front, even if it is coming at the cost of a lot of embarrassment for the party within.
It's a little late for that, isn't it, considering what's played out right now and the fact that you've had senior Congress leaders calling out Tharoor now to take a stand saying, look, he's part of a global envoy, a delegation that's putting India first. It's a bit late for that narrative. But thank you very much, Maushmi, for joining us. From what Maushmi is telling us now, it looks like we're not going to be seeing this kind of a public spat. But perhaps when Tharoor returns, there could be some step taken with regards to the comments that he made. But don't be surprised if the Congress just chooses, the High Command chooses to look the other way as they have been for the last many, many months. As promised here on India Today, we're continuing our follow-up on what's happening in Kerala, where authorities remain on high alert after containers from a cargo ship that sank have been washing ashore along the Kochi coast. Now, this is not just in Kollam but also in Alappuzha districts that these containers have been washing up. There are 13 of them with hazardous materials, which is what there's so much concern over, because if there is the smallest leak of the calcium carbide that's inside these containers, it could lead to a serious crisis of contamination of the sea water. Operations are underway to pull out all containers and ensure a full cleanup along the coast, while also ensuring that locals in the area are not impacted in any way. Shibi Mol gets you these ground reports.
The cleaning of the plastic that got accumulated on the shores have begun. Now, this was decided in the meeting held by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan that, the plastic, the huge amount of plastic that's got accumulated on the shore in Alappuzha, Kollam and Thiruvananthapuram needs to be removed as soon as possible. These are, plastic materials that got accumulated after containers from the ship, from the Liberian container vessel MSC Elsa 3 that sank off the Kochi coast got washed ashore. These containers from that particular ship had washed ashore, which brought in a lot of plastic to the shore. Now, as you can see, the civil defense volunteers are cleaning these. The things that you find mostly when you look around, there are many small plastic bottles, and most importantly there are many pieces of thermocol. Now all these containers had thermocol inside it, huge amount of thermocols, as these are all refrigerated containers, so there were many plastic thermocol inside it. Now that has been broken into pieces and it's all over the place, it's all over the shore, and also there are many houses right opposite to this beach, and even in front of those houses there are many of these thermocol pieces accumulated. So all of that needs to be removed because it's majorly an environmental concern also. So that work has begun yesterday. There was a drone survey carried out to detect where are these plastics accumulated, so that accordingly they can deploy these volunteers. So now this is likely to be completed in the coming days. And because this is not just a small amount of plastic and small amount of thermocol that's got accumulated, it's huge amount of plastic, because these were part of these huge containers. These containers are very huge. There were more than 11 containers that got washed ashore in this particular area where we are right now. So this is going to take some time. There are many, objects like comb and markers, pens, lotion bottles, and all of that. So it is going to be a task, but we can see the civil defense volunteers here taking on this task. They've always been part of some of the major activities that this state government has initiated, state has gotten into. So we are hopeful that in the very soon they can finish this off, and also accordingly these containers will also be removed from the shore very soon. With video journalist Tinku Rajshekar, Shipmol KG for India Today from Kollam.
And we will continue getting you those ground reports as the operations continue to clear out all the containers that are being washed up ashore along the Kerala coast. Let's put the focus on what's happening in Karnataka. The Congress infighting again on display, Siddaramaiah versus DK Shivkumar. The transfer of 5 senior engineers from the Public Works Department has in fact led to a showdown. Why? Because these are officials who report directly to DK Shivkumar, and the transfers has been done by Siddaramaiah. In a letter addressed to the Chief Secretary, DK Shivkumar has made it clear that transfers and appointments within his department cannot be executed without his consent. Essentially, he's rebelling against Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's decision. Now, at this point, he says that I haven't approved any of these kind of changes or transfers. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah clearly is being sent across a message by DK Shivkumar. It's under his usual administrative norms that he holds the power to approve such transfers, and yet DK Shivkumar has made it a point to rebel and send out a message that if transfers are happening within his departments, even if it's by the Chief Minister, it's simply not okay. And so that gives you clearly an indication that DK Shivkumar wants to take on Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and isn't shy from doing it rather publicly. This is the latest, of course, in a saga of this kind of face-offs that we've been seeing between the Chief Minister and his deputy. Nagarjun Dwarkanath is joining us with more details on this. Nagarjun, take us through really the messaging that's involved in DK Shivkumar very publicly questioning a decision taken by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah.
Well, this is another moment where DK Shivkumar is trying to put his foot down on the ground and say, this is my forte, this is my boundary. No one can infringe upon my responsibilities, what he is saying. Usually the prerogative is with the chief minister of moving officials from various departments. So because he's the supreme of the cabinet and is the first among the cabinet, so he has all the prerogative to move the officials. But now DK Shivkumar, who's number 2, the deputy chief minister, has put on record that including the CM can't move. He's officially written to the chief minister's chief secretary saying that my prior approval was not taken and I take high objection to this, and this transfer has to be stopped immediately and the officials have to be called back to my department, is what DK Shivkumar has said in the letter. This is another instance where DK Shivkumar, moving closer to the 2.5 years, is putting its foot down and say it's me or my way also, not just Siddaramaiah's way in the government. I'm an equal stakeholder in this moment in this government, and hence me and Siddaramaiah both are equal. He might be the chief minister, but doesn't mean that he have complete power in this government. That's the message DK Shivkumar has given through this letter.
Now let's see what happens in the days to come. What will Chief Minister Siddaramaiah do? Will he sit quiet? Will he allow this kind of messaging, or will he hit back? Thanks very much, Nagarjun, for joining us with those details. Let's put the spotlight on the language debate. Kannada versus Tamil, courtesy Kamal Haasan. The controversy is now snowballed as Kamal Haasan is facing heat in Karnataka. The actor is facing massive backlash over his controversial Kannada was born out of Tamil remark made during the audio launch of his upcoming film Thug Life. Pro-Kannada groups have been staging protests against Kamal Haasan. So much so that a DMK ally MLA Vel Murugan has threatened if Kamal Haasan does not apologize, he will not let Karnataka movies release in Tamil Nadu. Karnataka Film Chamber, meanwhile, has given a 24-hour deadline to Kamal Haasan to apologize. So both sides are now putting pressure on the actor-politician. Kamal Haasan, remember, has refused to apologize. Yesterday, when asked about his comment, he said it came from a place of love, and so there should be historians who speak about this. It's not my place. I will not apologize, was what he maintained.
How much ever knowledge you got, you cannot just come and talk whatever you want to, because nothing is right today. So the way he has, whatever he could say, I have not listened, but I've been hearing that he has spoken something that because of the Tamil, the Kannada has come. Absolutely, I don't think it's right the way he has spoken. So personally, I want to condemn this.
I think Kamal Haasan has said he will not apologize to Kannadigas. How do you see?
I condemn it. He should apologize. Because why should he talk about Kannada? It is our language. Why should he mention? We are deeply hurt by the statement of Kamal Haasan. He should not be rigid, because he is not only a political leader, he is also a film actor. This kind of statements will not be tolerated, and Kannadigas will not tolerate such kind of statements.
Once again, Kamal Haasan, the cine actor, he said that the Kannada is born from the Tamil language. It is not what he is not even putting and giving any apology for that. We Indians believe that all the languages, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, all other languages are born from the Sanskrit. People like Kamal Haasan, out of his ignorance or out of his arrogance, give such statements. Kannada is also a great Indian language. Tamil is also a great Indian language.
Sir, you have written a letter to the Karnataka Film Chamber. ಏನಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್?
ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಕಮಲ್ ಹಾಸನ್ ಹಿರಿಯ ನಟರು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅವರು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡದ ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ನೋವಾಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ತತ್ಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಿ ಅಂತ ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಮಂಡಳಿಯವರು ಅವರ ಚಿತ್ರರಂಗವನ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಸರ್, ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು DMK ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಒಂದು ಅಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ, ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿನ MLA ಶಾಸಕರೊಬ್ರು ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚಿತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ.
ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಯಾರು ತಪ್ಪನ್ನವಾಗ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪಿ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡೋದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಆ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದು. ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸ್ತೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಗೌರವಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಕೀಳಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ನಾವು.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಮಿತ್ರ ಪಕ್ಷನೇ DMK, ಅವ್ರ ಅಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದು.
ಪಕ್ಷ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಬಂದತೆ ಮೊದಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡ ವಿಚಾರ ಬಂದತೆ, ಕನ್ನಡ ನೆಲ ಜಲದ ವಿಚಾರದಾಗ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ.
ಸರ್, ಈಗ ಕಮಲ್ ಹಾಸನ್ ಅವರು ಅದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ನಾನು ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ನಾನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು.
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಇದು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ನೋವಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ,
ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ಹಿರಿಯರಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
So what exactly started this entire controversy? Listen into that remark from Kamal Haasan, over which pro-Kannada groups are demanding an apology.
இது அந்த ஊரில் இருக்கும் என் குடும்பம், அதனால தான் அவர் இங்கே வந்திருக்காரு. அதனால தான் நான் பேச்சை ஆரம்பிக்கும் பொழுது நான் உயிரே உறவே தமிழே என்று ஆரம்பித்தேன். அதில் தமிழிலிருந்து பிறந்தது தான் உங்கள் பாஷையும், அதனால் நீங்களும் அதில் உட்படுவீர்கள். இன்னும்
Politicians are not qualified to talk about language. They don't have the education enough to talk about it. That includes me. So let's leave all these very in-depth discussions to historians, archaeologists, and language experts.
Now let's get you a reaction from actor Ramya Divya Spandana. She's spoken on this entire language row that's been stoked by Kamal Haasan. Listen into this exclusive conversation.
Your take on this entire boycott of Thug film after Kamal Haasan's statement?
Look, there's no denying that Kamal Haasan sir has probably made a faux pas or a mistake, or I don't know if he's aware or not aware, by saying that Kannada came from Tamil or that Kannada is derived from Tamil, because that is factually incorrect. Right? But having said that, I just think that first of all, I'm against boycott of anything. Like, I am not someone, in the past also they tried to ban actors from the industry and things like that, and I have stood up against it. So similarly now, I just think that, boycotting is a bit much. But having said that, I think, I hope Kamal sir realizes, or whatever, and at the end of the day, well, he's free to say what he wants, but it doesn't stop us from, correcting him and saying that it's not true. I mean, he probably meant that, we're all under one umbrella, the Dravidian languages, right? Yes. Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Malayalam. Yes. And we may have some commonality, like, some words are common and we do share the same ancestral linguistic thing, but apart from that, I think we're a family. I don't think we can say one is superior than the other, and that would be wrong and actually factually incorrect.
So let's see what happens now in the days to come, as these pro-Kannada groups have made it clear that if Kamal Haasan doesn't apologize, there will be an official boycott of his films in Karnataka. And that's all we have time for in this edition of Super 6. As always, I'm leaving you with our fact check. Now, there are videos doing the rounds on social media claiming to show 2 BSF soldiers arrested for spying for Pakistan. You've seen many spy rackets being busted. According to social media, this is one of them, of BSF soldiers. The reality? This is a 2018 video. The context completely untrue. It's a builder from Kanpur who had stashed 96 crore cash and was caught. So no, it has absolutely nothing to do with the BSF. It has absolutely nothing to do with spying. It's not even current. This is a 2018 video. Again, a reminder, don't believe everything you see on social media. That's all we have time for in this edition of Super 6. Thanks very much for tuning in.